And actually having that messaging has been like game changer for me in my outreach. My name is Lauren MacEwan. I am an account executive for a startup. Typically, it's split between like prospecting activities, so trying to build top of the funnel, and then a lot of time spent on kind of mid funnel and the end, closing and signing deals, which is my favorite part. So I use HubSpot and everything comes up as like a task list. And I saw it as like, okay, let's just tick through these as quickly as possible. Let's just get through it as quickly as possible. And I wasn't really like finding the joy, interest in it particularly. I was very much seeing it as like I just need to do this so that I can take it off my list and I can move on to other things. It gave me so many ideas of how to improve my prospecting. It never felt overcomplicated. It actually just felt quite exciting. Like I was given a lot of tools that actually I can think about for an extended period of time and implement them slowly over time, and I can see that they'll make changes. The kind of main thing is that it can be interesting and it can be fun to do prospecting. I think that's a big one. I think when you're like a solo salesperson and you're just having to crank through all these tasks, like you can get really stuck in your head and you can get in the mundane. I think I've always worked in quite small teams. So I come from very small startups and I haven't always had like other AEs and things like that I can kind of count on and go to for like help and things like that. And I think like with the group things and then with you, Neil, as the coach, like it's almost like you have that kind of mini team within your team. So you kind of get to share things. Honestly, for me, I think I created a buyer persona map. We talked about it I think it was the very first session, but I worked through that and I took a lot of time with it. And I worked through using kind of the insights I'd had from the learning path. I worked through messaging that would resonate with different personas. And actually having that messaging has been like game changer for me in my outreach, because I know now, okay, I'm calling the CEO, I'm calling the COO of this company. These are the kind of problems they're likely to be facing with what I'm selling. And you're so focused on it and you can think about it, and everything you do then becomes more confident because you know that person and you know that persona more. But for me, it works really well and it's really done that. And I'm very excited to see, I've kind of started implementing it over the last couple of weeks and I'm excited to see kind of where that gets me. It was personal, which felt really nice. I think for me, I'd never had like a huge amount of sales coaching before. I get it from my manager now, which is excellent, but never had any sort of traditional or like one-on-one sales coaching in that sense. And I think it's the ability to tell somebody your fears that you have, but they're not your manager. So if you're like, oh my God, I'm doing this so badly, sometimes you feel like you need to sugarcoat it a little bit. And with a coach, you don't need to do that. And then having my coach go through the sequences and the cold calling scripts and the plans and getting that one-on-one time, like you end up getting such valuable insights from that. I think the biggest thing that I took away from it is at the start of the quarter, I felt quite overwhelmed. I'd had a really big Q1 and I'd signed a lot. And so my pipeline was very depleted and I felt quite overwhelmed by that. The biggest thing is like, I've woken up this morning and I've seen my list and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get these calls done and I'm going to try and have good conversations with people. It's just the approach it doesn't need to always be so rigid. Take the principles, but have fun with it, I think has been really important, because otherwise you just metrics. And sometimes that doesn't make a particularly fun environment. You get so stuck in your own little world that you're selling. So I get really stuck in like data protection and cybersecurity and things like that you can kind of forget that like the world outside that exists. So it's interesting to understand how people are actually implementing it in completely different industries and completely different businesses and kind of the overlaps. And it means you can pull information from them that maybe they don't directly apply one-to-one, but you can adapt them. So that was really good. And then I think the other thing is just the structure of every session. You knew what you were going to get when you came in. Neil, you'd say, this is what we're going to go through today. You'd go through it all. I'd have a list afterwards of notes that I'd taken. I'd have access to the recordings, and I know that I can go back at any time now and be like, what was that thing that Neil said? And I can go back and I can access that. Yeah, so it felt very well structured as well. If you think you can level up your prospecting, or you are struggling with your pipeline a little bit, or you were like I was and your mindset around it wasn't the best, you saw it as very much a task, you didn't feel, it wasn't your natural confident state, do it. Because you meet other people that are in these group sessions and you get really structured learning time for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's a really good amount of time. Make sure you protect it in your calendar. Keep that time around it free as much as you can so that you can actually fully embed yourself in it. And then with the coaching side of things, either use it to supplement what you've gone through in the learning path, which I did a little bit. So sometimes it'd be like, I'd bring a sequence. Can we go through this, Neil? Yes, we'd go through that. Other times it'd be like, oh my God, I'm really struggling. I'm not getting the meetings, whatever it is. Can I just have a bit of a moment to use it for that as well? So go into it open. I mean, my advice would be, if your company has an L&D budget, use it. Just lean in, learn.